What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. The Thunderdome is here, so what will happen on Smackdown? Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 21st August episode of Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including a major star is part of Retribution, a WWE program returns, WWE is banning some fans, The Fiend meets Vince McMahon, a big title change and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the show, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, the Thunderdome was pretty awesome. The Thunderdome was everything that fans hoped for, a cool concept with a set that reflected the return of fans, well, kinda, sorta, and hopefully a new era in the WWE. Now, fans did their best to get behind the Performance Center shows, and despite some interesting innovations such as cinematic matches, it was extremely difficult to get excited about the PC shows. Not to mention it was always kinda dark and dingy, which didn't reflect the product of WWE. But the Thunderdome, with its bright lights, lasers, and pyrotechnics everywhere, it's great for a number of reasons, as it allows the WWE to give itself a reboot of sorts, allows the return of flashy sets, and brings the fans back in a virtual format that on paper seemed pretty silly, but actually works and adds a futuristic feel to the show, even if it does look like a game of Guess Who. What's also interesting is that the set really seems to replicate the intro of Smackdown. I think we've come full circle here. Number 2, The Fiend confronts Vince McMahon. Now, Vince McMahon doesn't show up too often on television, so fans had to be excited to see Mr. McMahon, particularly when he was interrupted by The Fiend. The interaction between the two was as bizarre as you'd expect, and while Vinnie Mac didn't eat a mandible claw, wouldn't that have been great? It was a great opener, especially when Braun Strowman showed up. Number 3, Retribution Riot. The WWE Universe knew that Retribution was going to strike on SmackDown last night, but where and how was a big question. The group's recent activities have been pretty lame, but that changed when the group confronted The Fiend and Braun Strowman, leaving fans wondering whether the two former Wyatt family members might team up temporarily. That didn't happen as The Fiend waved bye-bye before teleporting away, leaving the Monster Among Men in a bad spot. The ensuing riot and arrival of the SmackDown locker room made for a strong opener. Number 4, Sonya's promo. Sonya Deville's promo was everything it needed to be, a credible calling of a former friend Mandy Rose, as well as an escalation of the match itself with the addition of the no disqualification and loser leaves WWE clause. Deville's in-ring skills are undeniable, and if she continues cutting promos like this one, she'll be ready for the main event sooner rather than later. Number 5, Naomi wins. Speaking of main eventing the women's division, Naomi scored a big win last night when she defeated Bayley. Naomi, a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion, put in a fantastic performance when she returned to action at this year's Royal Rumble, but her career has drifted ever since. This was a reminder of all that Naomi can do, if the WWE books her correctly. Number 6, Jeff Hardy wins the Intercontinental Championship. Jeff Hardy vs AJ Styles was truly a main event caliber match, and if WWE intends on booking big matches to boost Raw and SmackDown, the company should use this one as a blueprint. WWE set things up with Hardy going into a match with a bum knee, then Hardy and Styles put on a fantastic display of athleticism. Hardy is 42 and Styles is 43, but you'd never guessed it based on last night's match. This was a true classic, and with any luck, the WWE won't put the belt back on AJ right away. It was just a little funny how they didn't let Jeff have more than 2 minutes on the mic though, cutting him off abruptly by playing his music. Vince in the back was probably just like, wrap that shit up, boy, we on a network here. And number 7, Braun vs Bray Brawl. The WWE deserves credit for booking SummerSlam's Braun Strowman vs The Fiend match well, and last night's brawl was the perfect way to lead into it. Braun's vicious attack on Wyatt was a reminder of what Strowman can do, as he beat Wyatt so badly that Bray had to be taken away in an ambulance. However, the WWE also reminded the WWE Universe of the power of The Fiend as Wyatt's devilish doppelganger emerged from the ambulance, ready to do battle. Strowman may be able to defeat Wyatt, but can he defeat The Fiend? But that was the good. What about the bad? And to be fair, there wasn't a lot of it. As number 1, the Big E Sheamus finish. While the Biggie vs Sheamus bout was your classic battle between two big hosses, the finish killed what was a fantastic match. Sometimes two power-based wrestlers don't click as their styles are too similar, but both Biggie and the Celtic Warrior have more in their arsenal than just smash and bash attacks. These two could have had a good feud, but having Biggie steal a win with a roll-up while Sheamus was distracted is no way to get Biggie over or build up a potential program. Well, there was no downright ugly of last night's show. In fact, it was surprisingly strong. This was the type of go-home show for SummerSlam that should have happened on Raw. While the WWE's major problem is its storytelling, the Thunderdome was a flashy way to get fans' attention back. The debut show at the Thunderdome featured good wrestling, strong storytelling, and powerful promos, not only to hype Sunday's SummerSlam show, but to entice fans to watch Raw and Smackdown. But what did you guys think of last night's Smackdown? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Now, our first story looks at The Miz being part of Retribution. Rumors are flying around that The Miz may be part of Retribution, with eagle-eyed fans noticing Miz's absence before Retribution's attack on Smackdown. During the 14th August Smackdown, The Miz was absent when Retribution attacked, with the A-lister claiming he was on the phone with his wife. This week, The Miz didn't run in to help the Blue Brand until after Retribution had been fought off. Could The Miz be working with the mysterious new faction? If so, what other superstars might already be under the mask? Next up, WWE bans a number of fans. If you tuned into Smackdown, you no doubt saw the virtual fans who could be seen watching from home. Those who wanted to participate had to pre-register with the WWE and agree to certain rules, one of them reportedly being that they'd be liable for any FCC violations they caused, such as swearing on television. In addition, the WWE is ready to ban any fans who violate this rule, such as wearing AEW merchandising. According to Wrestling Inc.'s Raj Giri, regarding not following the rules, there is the feeling that they will be tested over the next several shows by people seeing how far they can go before they are removed for one reason or another. It's being said that if you are removed from the live feed, your name and email address would be added to a blocked list. Giri's exclusive report also provided information on how the virtual fans are being shown. The fans in the virtual audience will be rotated every 15 to 30 minutes. After that time, the viewer could be repositioned to another location on the video board or removed from the live feed entirely. Viewers will not be in the audience for the entire show. It was noted that the more enthusiasm a viewer shows, the more likely that they are to stay in the live stream and could get a better location on the video boards to be seen on television. WWE has also stated that they will be banning anybody who has been wearing AEW merchandise. Some fans were also kicked out of the stream and possibly put on the banned list for sleeping during the show, as a number of eagle-eyed viewers managed to see this and catch it on camera. Not to mention, at one point there was a teddy bear watching the show. What the hell? But all in all, it sounds like a fun experience for fans who participate and a good way to encourage an enthusiastic audience. But what do you guys think of the WWE's virtual fans? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Kalisto turning heel? Could recently returned Lucha House Party member Kalisto be turning heel? It seems that way after his actions on last night's Smackdown. Kalisto, who just came back from rehabbing an injury, got into a shoving match with Lince Dorado after Dorado and Gran Metalik dropped a match to Smackdown Tag Team Champions Nakamura and Cesaro. Will the Lucha House Party split up, or will it continue with a different lineup? Kalisto is the most successful member of the Lucha House Party, at least in terms of championships, and could see a renewed singles push. Next up, the return of Jeff Hardy's old entrance theme. It appears that newly crowned IC champion Jeff Hardy is going to get his old music back, just not yet. Brother Nero's wife Beth tweeted, "No more words is being reserved for an actual live crowd. Jeff is currently using his theme loaded in the meantime." Next up, Talking Smack is returning. WWE.com has announced the return of Talking Smack, revealing that the show would debut on 22nd August. They revealed, "Join host Kyla Braxton and Xavier Woods as they welcome your favorite superstars and react to what promises to be an exciting episode of Friday Night Smackdown as it makes its debut inside the WWE Thunderdome just 2 days before SummerSlam." With less fans watching SmackDown, it's puzzling that the WWE has brought Talking Smack back, but you may recall that Renee Young and Daniel Bryan hosted the show in its last incarnation, and it was extremely successful. And finally, AEW going after Scalpers. Now that AEW is selling a limited number of tickets for its show, AEW President Tony Khan isn't holding back when it comes to going after ticket scalpers. AEW made tickets available in a number of groups to reflect that friends and family might come in small or large groups depending on the situation. Khan issued the following statement to explain AEW's policy targeting scalpers. The tickets were sold in groups or pods with the intention of keeping fans with their friends and families and safely distanced from other fans in attendance. We're seeing some of these tickets being sold on the secondary market in a way that splits original pod and therefore potentially combining two or more groups of unacquainted fans within the same pod. This was clearly not our intention. Nothing is more important than the health and well-being of the entire AEW family, and that certainly includes our fans. It is an illegal, unethical, and inappropriate move by secondary market sellers, and we intend to police this situation online as well as at the venue. This is a smart move by AEW, but it could raise some legal challenges depending on Florida's laws regarding reselling tickets. If the resales were valid transactions, AEW might have no option other than to bar resales during future ticket sales. But there you have it guys, the good, the bad and the downright ugly from last night's Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news and rumors. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.